ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोर्श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोर्नवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागररघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतो पंगो मौ मंदमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पदाम्भोजौ राधा मदर मोहनौ दिव्य वृंदारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद् राधा श्रील गोविंद देवो प्रेष्ठालेभि सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भे वंशी वटतटस्थितः कर्षन् वेणु स्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तु नः। तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Welcome to today's 20th day hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam by Bhaktivedanta College of Vedic Education. This college is located at ISKCON Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra, India, and it has been designed and dedicated to spread the knowledge, Vedic knowledge on the principle which Srila Prabhupada has given, that to achieve real unity and peace in the world. So Srila Prabhupada's mission is also to spread the highest knowledge or highest Vedic knowledge, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. That is actually Srimad Bhagavatam is ripened fruit of entire Vedic knowledge, ripened fruit, and one need not be really worried whether it is completely matured, whether it is completely ready to eat, because sometimes it so happens that it may appear color is very good, mango from external it may appear yellowish, but inside it is still not ripened. But Srimad Bhagavatam need not be doubted, because if somebody finds that a fruit which is partly eaten, tasted by a parrot, one can understand that that is a completely ripened fruit. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is 100% ripened fruit, and it is confirmation is that it has been tasted by Shukadeva Goswami. That's why it is a ripened fruit. So one need not have any doubt whether it is completely ripened or still it is raw. So this Bhagavatam is a completely ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge, and education has taken this humble task of spreading this Srimad Bhagavatam, the ripened fruit of Vedic tree, for the benefit of the entire human society, and under this very critical condition of the world, that is pandemic. So we'll start our 20th day hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam Katha under the banner that Srimad Bhagavata Katha Shatakam. We are hearing the entire Bhagavatam in 100 story forms, and we will be proceeding. So as a regular standard practice, let us chant the prayers. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. So this regular hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is described as Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So the whole purpose of this endeavor and whole purpose of Srila Prabhupada's endeavor to introduce Srimad Bhagavatam is to bring the auspiciousness, and that's why he has given 18 volumes, elaborate word translation, purport, so that the people can spend their whole life in actually enjoying, relishing and assimilating and finally developing the love of Godhead. And to confirm this, I would like to bring forward, there are important message. It has come. There is a commentary. There is commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. The name is the Chaitanya Manjusha. So in that there is a statement which actually confirms that whatever the Srimad Bhagavatam is telling or saying is the final. So it says that Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kajitupasana Vrajavadho Vargena Ya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tatra Tarana Paraha. So this is from this is one of the verses in the commentary of Srimad Bhagavatam, is known as Chaitanya Manjusha, which gives a complete picture about Srimad Bhagavatam. See, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, he has given 4 statements. He has given 4 statements to the whole human beings, those who are actually supposed to develop a love of Godhead. He has given 4 statements. For the first statement is that Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam. Who is worshipable and whom we should worship and who is only worshipable. He is giving that Vrajesha Tanaya, Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya, one who is a darling, the son of the Vrajaraj. Vrajaraj is Nanda Maharaj. So Nanda Maharaj's son, Vrajesha Tanaya. Vrajesha Tanaya is Lord Sri Krishna. So he is Aradhya. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam. Not alone, but it is along with Vrindavan. There are some people who worship Krishna also, but they don't even keep cow. They just keep only Krishna. So that is not a recommended one, because Krishna cannot be worshipped just alone, and because Krishna doesn't stay alone. Krishna will be either with cows or with gopis or with parents or brothers or some servants or like that. Or he will be along with Vrindavan. There are so many living entities. So if somebody thinks that, okay, I am very dear to Krishna, Krishna is very dear to me, I am a Krishna devotee, somebody may say, and they put one Krishna and with Murali Mohana. Krishna is playing flute and see that, oh, I am attached to Krishna. So that is not recommended by Krishna himself in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says that Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavan. So you should, who is worshipable? Worshipable is Lord Krishna along with his Vrindavan. Vrindavan is nothing but full of love. Either cow, love of cows, or love of friends, or love of parents, or love of lovers, and love of the shoot. So this is Krishna, that is the actual, the worshipable for everybody. The first, number 1. Ramya Kajitopasana Vrajavadho Bharkena Ya Kalpita. Then what is the most pleasing worshipping method? What is it? Because there are so many methods available. So somebody may be worshipping by friendship or some arti, doing bhajan, many things. And somebody may be parenting, many things are there, Krishna. But what is the best? What is the most pleasing? That is Ramya. Ramya means very pleasing. Ramya kaj upasana vrajavadhu vargena ya kalpita. So the worshipping method adopted by gopis in Vrindavan is very, very pleasing. It is very, very pleasing and the topmost. As Shukadeva Goswami, who is an Atmadarshi, he was explaining, he was just narrating how they were so much to serve Krishna. All gopis, he narrates in a very, very detailed manner at different contexts. And their feeling of separations, this is all explained by the Shukadeva Goswami. So it is clearly mentioned, the Ramya Kajit Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Yakalpa. The worshipping method or the adopted by gopis is very, very pleasing. Some means that is filled with love. So many people may say, yes, we also love Krishna. They also say, yes, we love Krishna. Actually, we enjoy in loving Krishna. We enjoy in serving Krishna. They put all these words very easily, very, very easily. And but the real test comes when everything is. For example, when they wanted to really rush towards Krishna, the gopis were stopped. Gopis were stopped by husbands, children, relatives, parents, everybody. But they defied everybody's order and they pushed towards Krishna. So that is called the love. So can we confidently say that yes, under any circumstance, let anybody come and stop me, I will just defy everybody and I am going to Krishna? Can we say so confidently? Probably or not. Surely not. Not all. Surely not. Because that is the topmost. That is topmost. That's why what is some benchmark is kept. Benchmark, somebody who is that, that will understand. Benchmark has been kept by some great, even Krishna himself, that if somebody says that if they are loving me, so I love the way gopis really worship me. So we should say that yes, we love Krishna, we like Krishna. These are very easy words. It's good to say, but it is really tough. It is similar to whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the end said, that even my dear Krishna, if you embrace me or reject me and trample under your feet, both are okay for me. So Krishna was spending with so much time with gopis, at the same time he has left them, so still they are remembering. So that's why it mentioned Ramya Kajit Upasana Vrajavado Varghena. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam. So when it comes to the authority, for sake of authority, to understand what is God and what is devotee, what is devotional service, what is the relationship between God and the devotee, and what is the creation. If somebody wants to have some authoritative information on anything in this world, whatever in this world or beyond this world, if somebody wants authoritative information, it is that Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam. The authority is a Srimad Bhagavatam which is spotless. Amalam means Purana. It's spotless Purana, and you can take that it is the authentic. It is the final authority. Whatever is said in Bhagavatam is the final. Somebody may suddenly give some quotation, no, but it was told like this in so and so and so. But Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam. The final authority is Srimad Bhagavatam. This word. Prema Pumartho Mahan. All Vedic literature, they talk about 4 Purusharthas, that is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. But Srimad Bhagavatam speaks about the final one, and even Krishna also accepted that. What is that? Prema pumartho mahan. Prem, that is pum means for the all human beings. Artha means their final objective. Prema is the topmost purushartha. Mahan. Mahan is highest. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha are there, but the Mahapurushartha is Prema. And that has been perfectly described, that has been perfectly demonstrated in Bhagavatam, what it means, what it actually looks, what by doing what it will be obtained, and what will be result when we obtain it. Everything is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. And these four statements are confirmed by Krishna himself, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam. This is the opinion of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Tatra Tarana Paraha. So, we also give the highest respect to all these statements of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We don't have any difference of opinion. So, this is the statement given about Srimad Bhagavatam in the commentary of Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Manjusha. So, this gives a complete, a perfect direction to us. Perfect direction to us that what is the mood finally we should develop by reading, by studying, or first by hearing, then studying, then contemplating, and adding devotion to that. What is the final, up to what extent we wanted to reach? We want to reach to the extent of saying that for me the worshipable is only Vrajechatanya along with Vrindavan. That I should be able to say. So when I say this one, where is the question of me going to the 4 dham or 100 dham or 150 dham? I will not do that. Because Aradhyo Bhagavan Rajesh Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam. That he is my. It is not that they will defy or they will not respect, but they say that already I got where I want to go. I got already the diamond, I got the highest thing in my hand. Where should I go? So that comes automatically. It is not by a forced activity. But when we reach to the mature condition of Srimad Bhagavatam, real things will come into picture. That is Radhyo Bhagavan Rajesh Tanaya Tadhama. It means along with Vrindavana, we will be considering Krishna as the only worshipable Lord. And then comes, then we give the highest honor to gopis for the greatest attachment, the process of the devotional service they have established, which is very pleasing to Krishna, and also that starts becoming very pleasing to our heart. The moment if something is becoming pleasing to our heart about that character, means you have considered him, you have regarded them as top. For example, once we understand that the Vaivasvata Manu, for example, Vaivasvata Manu, he is such a great personality because in his previous life he associated with Matsya Murti, and he also associated with Saptarshi, and he was just hearing in the Pralaya Jala grave situation, and next he became Manu, and he became the perfect platform to create Chandravamsha, Suryavamsha. He gave Bhagavad Gita. So all things when they go into our heart, he becomes our hero. We get attracted towards such personality, and we start giving respect to him. When the character becomes attractive to our heart, then the relation gets established. Unless and until a relation is established between a character or a personality, there won't be any transfer, or there was no exchange of loving relations. So we have, even from one electrode to other electrode, if something has to pass, there should be some connection. Then only the things are possible. So how we can establish a relation or between a person, great personality? When we start liking him, then we establish. The moment once we establish, everything is done. Then the first flow of the mercy comes, and then we also automatically reciprocate in the form of gratitude. when we express gratitude and the mercy flows. Then this is called exchange of loving relation. So that has to really come with gopis. That has to come with gopis. Then we understood, then Krishna will be very pleased. That is second one. And third is coming to the highest point that yes, Srimad is the topmost authority for anything. This should come. I will speak, I will hear, I will talk about only Bhagavatam. That is called. And Prema Pumarthama, I have only one desire and one goal, that is love of Krishna. And these are the statements of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we will start experiencing it when the Bhagavatam, the mature Bhagavatam should. That's all. So this is the few thoughts about the Bhagavatam and the benchmarking. Benchmarking means whether we are reaching towards a perfect goal regarding to Bhagavatam. We can test from this beautiful sloka from Chaitanya Manjusha. So coming to our today's stories. So we are now in the 20th day of Bhagavatam wonderful stories, and by these stories we are actually relishing unlimited pleasure, and unknowingly we are actually increasing the heaps of auspiciousness in our life, in our heart, in our families. I am sure that when you feel that, oh, today I felt very good, I am very, very happy to hear Bhagavatam. That feeling is understood. You feel that, okay, now I am feeling very good, but you don't know another thing is happening. What is that? The super soul in your heart also is becoming witness to your real feeling about the attraction toward Bhagavatam. Oh, today I felt really good. I am feeling very light. I am feeling very much happy. The moment you think that it is not question of mind, actually it is the soul. The moment you feel like that, the witness is super soul. The moment super soul witness your wonderful feeling about Bhagavatam on the particular day or particular days, then he will immediately send the auspiciousness to all your ancestors, because he is there in different. Your ancestors are there in so many forms, and he is the common man. So because you have come in the lineage, and immediately he would send immediately the auspiciousness to all of them. So that is beauty. You may not be knowing how many names you can understand. Say you may know your father name or grandfather name, great grandfather name if you are lucky, but beyond that you don't know, but they are there. 10 generations before, somebody is there. But how can you really do a favor to them? By really getting pleased or expressing or experiencing the pleasure of Srimad Bhagavatam hearing. Understanding the great devotees, when we hear about the devotees, the Mahabhagavatas, and their attachment to Krishna, when we understand this, when we experience, when we feel, and even if under that condition, even if one drop of tear, means one tear drop comes out, that gives an unlimited auspiciousness, and that will be immediately transferred to all the ancestors. So that will be without even you need not tell the Paramada, oh, why don't you give, please send all this auspicious. No, just you feel, and automatically. That is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I am sure that we are all enjoying and relishing, and our all ancestors are getting really blissful condition by this hearing, our happiness. And also our immediate requirement is that let this auspiciousness spread on the earth. Let the auspiciousness spread on the earth, so that the world crisis come to a grinding halt. All the crises come to a grinding, because now it is already getting tapered, and suddenly it comes to a grinding halt. Suddenly people come, what happened? How it has happened? So that's all Krishna always. Krishna can make miracle. Miracle means unimaginable. Unthinkable is called miracle. If you think that he's going to do, it will happen, it will happen. If it happens, that is a power, but it's not a miracle. So let us wait for this wonderful effect of Srimad Bhagavatam in our lives, so that our attachment to Bhagavatam will increase multifold. So today's first story is about because we are talking about ancestors. So the story of ancestors of Lord Krishna. So that is one of and also this is the story of renunciation, because renunciation is one of the key thing in our life, but not a premature renunciation. That is also important. So this is story of Yayati Maharaj. So we get into the beautiful Yayati Maharaj story. There is a forest. Actually, this world can be compared to a forest also. So many times we have seen that we compare this material world either to a prison house, or sometimes it is compared to a hospital. But people may not sometimes do much. They may accept it a little bit, but they don't really accept as it is. So that's why it is compared to a forest also. Bhoga Maharanya. It is a forest of enjoyment. Oh, they feel, it's good. There's an enjoyment forest also. So this is called forest of enjoyment. So in this forest of enjoyment, when a living entity, when he enters, he will first of all, he will be deceived by 6 thieves, that Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. There are 6 thieves first come and they try to push him into a wrong direction. So that the thieves, they will try to send you into most darkest region, so that they want to plunder you. They will do that. No, if you go this way, you will find out path very easily. Really nice, beautiful fruits are there, fruit yielding trees are there. They cheat you and they will take you to the darkest region, where you will find probably tigers, wolves and jackals. And this first encounter is the 6 thieves, and then one will experience the tiger, the family members like wife, children, etc. They are like the tigers, wolves, jackals. And also he will find the effect of the mosquito bites. So mosquito bites are always very interesting things. So the mosquito bites are the Srimad Bhagavad Sukadeva Goswami. These mosquito bites are similar to negative words or abusive words told are generally spoken by relatives. So neither you can accept them nor you can reject them. You cannot reject the relative, because ultimately is your father-in-law or is your brother-in-law. So you cannot reject him, but he will keep on he will be biting you like a mosquito, but we can't reject him. There are so many unlimited. So how can you really do it? So you have to put a mosquito net. So that is there is another technique also you can adopt whenever the mosquitoes are there. Presently I am doing. If you apply on your body coconut oil, then mosquitoes will not come to you. This is another small technique. So then you will not worry about it. And suddenly in the forest you will find that there is a thunderstorm. A lot of dust comes and your eyes are completely dark, and there are so many so much noise will be coming, which will be very fearful to you. And suddenly he will find that there is a nice river. Then the person who is going there, he finds that, oh, there is at least river is there, let me jump. The moment he jumps, he will find that it is a very shallow, and it is only half feet or something, not more than. Then he will break his legs and hands. And even then that the forest also does have some beautiful creepers, attractive flowers, and birds chirping, everything. Then these are all nothing but the beautiful and lovely words by wife and children. And he feels very, very happy, and he gets lost in that ocean. It's called Bhavasagar. And so much so that that's why And in this process, he is finding difficulties, he is having threats, he is having nice words by his wife in the seclusion. All these are happening, but somehow he will forget that how he has to come out from this forest. He will never come. And in this process, his whole life is gone, and he forgets the purpose of human form of life. And only by the mercy of Lord, that's why Krishna says, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami says, which is word of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhana Bhagyavanjo, Guru Krishna Prasada Paya Bhakti. So when he really is fortunate, gets the seed of devotional Krishna and Guru, and at that time he suddenly finds a path to come out of this forest, the Bhoga Maharanya. And that is possible when one is fortunate. So we see that the Yayati, Raja Yayati is also similar situation. He gets deep into the forest of enjoyment. Somebody may say that, oh, then why to really hear his story? He is in so much sense enjoyment. But we have to understand that he is the cause, because he is the ancestor of Krishna. So we should hear. So he must be a pious person, and through him, the Bhagavatam is giving a complete enlightenment process. That's why we need to hear about the story. So the story starts from Pururava. Pururava, we remember one of the stories we discussed. Pururava is essentially coming from the Chandravamsha. So since Lord Ramachandra's story we discussed, and we are given how it's going to end, the Surya Vamsha story we discussed. Now we are making all the platform for our beautiful Supreme Lord Krishna to come to our discussion, and then he will go into our hearts and get fixed up there. So that he is coming from Chandravamsha, and also we should see that Lord never comes alone. He wants to come along with his devotees. If somebody says that there is a trip possible to America, there are some choices there. You can spend 15 days trip to America. We will give you complete free boarding, lodging, everything. But you have to go alone. Your family members are not allowed. But second option is you can go to entire India, but we will give you free ticket with all family members. So which we will select? We will select automatically. Oh, America is not so important. Going with all parents, with all children, family is very important. Let me see. So there are so many important places in India also, and being India, we should be proud of India, and we should not be attached to America, and we should be seeing. We take a lot of philosophy and adopt this. What is reason? Reason is you never want to go alone. You never want to go. When king is there, king will go with entourage. This is secret. So we want even the why Arjuna was dejected to fight, because even if I win, that is at the expense of killing everybody, and there are no brothers and sisters and no relatives, and everybody dead. So with whom I will enjoy the enjoyment of the winning a war? That was the problem of Arjuna expressed. So here the Pururava actually made a great wonderful platform for both Krishna and Pandavas, because Pandavas are the very close to Krishna, and there are so many relatives. He has become a basis, as a predecessor for all such wonderful. Let us see here. So the Pururava, the Yayati has become like that. So Pururava, so elder son is Ayu. Ayu had 5 sons. And Nahusha is one of them, and Nahusha had 6 sons. Their name is Yati, Yayati, Samyati, Ayati, Niyati, Kruti. So these are the sons of Nahusha. So we are going to really discuss about one of the sons, That's Yayati, because from him the whole thing happened. So, and the first son, all the six, the first son is Yati. So after Nahusha, the Yati should have become the king. But the Yati had a mindset that if somebody takes a higher position, he will be losing the Atma Darshan. So thinking the higher philosophy, talking about philosophy or Atma Tattva, one will not be experienced. A person who is in the highest position of command, he will never experience the Atma Tattva. That was his mindset. Because he feels that when I go to that, I have to punish, I have to sometimes scold, I have to show some love, I have to do so many things. So he said that the higher position is not at all good for Atmadarshi, and he denied to receive the kingdom. So this person is Yayati. So that's why he was supposed to become the king. But at the time, the Nahusha his father is still ruling the whole universe. So, but this Nahusha one time made some abusive actions towards Indrapati, Sachi. So he tried to abuse her, and because of that, when Sachi went and told all the Rishi Munish that he has misbehaved, this Nahusha has misbehaved with her, and all of them has given a curse to become a snake. So he has become snake, and because of that he went down from the kingdom. At the time the second son has become king. That is, because of that Yayati has become king. But he was very careful, and he has given equal rights and power to remaining four sons. Remaining four sons are Samyati, Ayati, Niyati, Kruti. So he has given all the four directions to them and say that you all rule this the earth under my direction. So in that way he ensured that all are equally. He did not feel that he only should enjoy. He did not feel like that. And Yayati married. Yayati is a Kshatriya, and he has married daughter of Shukracharya, Devayani, married daughter of Rishaparva, another king, the Sharmishta. So in this way it is very interesting, very surprising also, because if you see the Devayani is a Brahmana's daughter, and Sharmishta is a king Kshatriya's daughter. So how it has happened, and there is a big story behind it, and there is a purpose. So here Rishaparva's daughter Sharmishta. So at the time the Shukracharya was staying in Rishaparva's kingdom, because he was a Rakshasa Raja. So because Shukracharya is always as a teacher for the demonic people. So here Rishaparva, the daughter of Sharmishta, she was a little short-tempered lady, very beautiful. And Devayani, of course, the teacher's son, teacher's daughter, Devayani. So all these people, all the girls, once they went to for an evening picnic to a place within their forest, not forest, in their Udyanavana, in the big Udyanavana seclusion. They went and they wanted to take bath. So all of them, they kept all their clothes on the shore, on the banks, and they went inside naked. So when they were taking bath happily, suddenly they noticed that Lord Shiva, because evening time, that's why people say that evening time we should be careful, because Lord Shiva will be always moving and he will be coming to the earthly planet. So of course he is coming for different purposes, not to see what is happening around, but he would, because that is time for all the Pramataganas to come. As the night comes, the Lord Shiva activity starts. So Shiva Parvati, they were just in the Vrishabha, on the bull carrier. So suddenly when they saw Lord Shiva, And all these girls suddenly became ashamed because they were naked. They simply came out and they haphazardly took their clothes and wore. At that time, the Sharmishta, the daughter of the king, wore the dress of Devayani because of the confusion, because everything was put not in, because all the clothes were just put as a dumped. So by seeing this activity that she wore her dress, Devayani became proud because she was having a feeling that she is from the higher caste family, Brahmana, and this girl is from Kshatriya, lower class. So you can see that how these things really make problematic by simple thinking. So the whole problem starts from mind, not understanding. So when she felt that she is from higher caste, the higher varna, and she started saying, you see how this lady actually is just like a dog touching the yajna havi. Suppose if somebody has kept the havis to put the ahuti in the fire, if the dog comes and touch, it becomes untouchable. So it is just like, actually I am from a highest varna and she has touched, he has taken my clothes. So like that she started. But when she said, like when Devayani said like this, and the Sharmishta got still more. For what reason? Because she is already a short-tempered girl, and more than that, she is a daughter of a king. So she has, okay, by varna she may be less, but by power, by opulence, she is more. And she said that, then she started yelling at Devayani, saying that you are a beggar. Basically, you are a beggar and staying at our mercy, and taking all the alms from us and trying to really show your bossism on me. He felt and encouraged so many Sakhis, and all of them immediately made Devayani naked and put her in a well, thrown her in well and went out. So Devayani, now she is naked, she cannot come out also. Of course, from a girl cannot come out from a well. Even if she tries to come out of the well, she will be naked. So she tried to continue inside. So at that time, by providence, the one person, our stories, the hero of our story, the Yayati Maharaj came. So Yayati Maharaj came and he saw that some shouting is taking. Somebody is crying from a well. He came near to the well and saw that there is a beautiful lady inside. And she noticed that she is naked. So she immediately first took out his uttariya and thrown to her, so that she can cover. So when she has covered up and she has helped her to come out, and he extended her his right hand, Dakshina Hasta, and she also extended hand, and he pulled Devayani out. The moment she pulled out, actually it is just like she held her hand. It is like a pani grahana, hand in hand. So in a marriage ceremony, both girl and boy they give hand to hand. It's called pani grahana. That's why the marriage is called pani grahana, means taking hand in hand. And she said that now you have saved me. At the same time, I can say that you accepted me as your wife. Is a panigrahan. And you may wonder, she was saying that you may wonder that, you are a Brahmin girl and I am a Kshatriya. But I was having a curse. I was having a curse that I can never marry a Brahmin. I have no option than to marry a Kshatriya. So Yayati Maharaj thought a little bit, but finally she got convinced that okay, this girl is having curse, but she is very beautiful also, with so many here and there. I finally said, okay, I will take you as marriage. And then she immediately came back to hermitage and started crying to her father, Shukracharya, and he said that what are things happened, and she wanted to revenge on Devayani, and so how Yayati has really helped her, and she also expressed her desire to marry him. So first Shukracharya became very, very upset about the situation, and he decided that there is no point in staying in this kingdom where the Acharya's daughter is not given enough respect, and he immediately said that let us go and beg elsewhere rather than staying here in this kingdom of this Vrishaparva. In this way he decided, and he started. When he was just started, the message already reached Vrishaparva, and he became very much terrified that if the spiritual master becomes unhappy, it's not a good situation. That we have seen in many stories, as the spiritual master is becoming disturbed or is becoming unhappy, all bad things starts happening. In the Bhagavatam stories, we should be very, very careful that always should pray that let only good things happen from my side, and all happy things only happen from my side, from my spiritual master. At least you should always aspire that let me not become a cause of anxiety to spiritual master. If not, I am not a point of great rejoice. It's not everybody can become a cause of rejoice for the spiritual master, but at least I should not become cause of anxiety. So one should think like that. So, and actually to make the spiritual master rejoice, very simple. If you are very sincere and sincerely serve the orders of the spiritual master, he will be pleased. It's not that you have to give tons of gold and you have to cut your head and give it to me, give it to him. It's not required. Spiritual master will never ask you, please cut your head and give it to me. He will never say like that. He will simply that, are you chanting? Are you serving Krishna? What is services you are doing? So that is called spiritual master. So if you are able to tell very happily that I am doing whatever orders you are given, have additional information, you give that, he'll become more pleased. That's all. Very simple. So unnecessarily we should not be going with some information which causes anxiety to spiritual master. And anyway, when such things happens, the Chaitya Guru is there within the heart. You can refer to the case to him, pray to him. He would solve. Why you wanted to disturb a personality who has given you the mantra diksha? So these are things we should be carefully. So here Vrishaparva understood this, and he immediately came along with his daughter and fell at the lotus feet, at the feet of Shukracharya, and begged him pardon. Please forgive. Then Shukracharya said that I can't take any decision because I love my daughter Devayani, so whatever she decides, that's okay for me. The Devayani said that if you want us to stay back here, the Sharmishta along with all her Sakhis, they should become my servants. With that condition only I will accept it. And especially not only now, when I with my permission of my father get married, and she should come to my place and should serve. This is. Then Vrishaparva said there is no option than to accept. So he said okay. Then Shukracharya and Devayani, they finally decided to stay back, and as requested by Devayani, the Shukracharya arranged marriage with Yayati Maharaj. So as previously planned, when Devayani got married to Yayati Maharaj, and Devayani is going to the palace. Now because Yayati is a great king, he is coming in the Purura Vamsha, the Chandra Vamsha, big king. So she is going there. Then as per the original order, Sharmishta along with her hundreds of Sakhi Jan, all the lady servants, she just followed as a servant. Then Shukracharya noticed, oh, the Sharmishta is also going to go with this as a servant, because he is a Trikalagna and also is a sensible man. He just sighed just called Jayati, sighed and told, okay, now as per my wife, for my daughter, the Sharmishta has become the servant of her, but please ensure that you will never get engaged with Sharmishta. Don't take her onto your bed. It's just all they want. Because the Kshatriya, as a Kshatriya, he may feel that, oh, Sharmishta is a Kshatriya girl and I am attached to this Brahmana girl. When the Kshatriya girl is around, so he makes every possibility of thinking like that. So Shukracharya already warned. So after Devyani and Sharmishta all went to the Yayathi's palace, and the happy life is going on, and Sharmishta along with all the Sakhis, they're serving nicely, humbly this Devyani. And first Devyani gave birth to a beautiful boy. And in a private place and requested Yayati, please accept me and also give me the gift of children, because I am a Kshatriya girl and you as a Kshatriya, you can accept any number of wives. So there is no question of marriage, but you fulfill. He remembered the warning by Shukracharya, but by providence he accepted. And Devayani afterwards she has given one more boy, so his name is Turvasa. And Sharmishta also continued her union with Yayati Maharaj, and she gave birth to 3 sons. One is Druhyu, Anu and Puru. So by this 2 sons, by 2 wives, one is official wife, one is as a Kshatriya he can have. So Yayati Maharaj got 5 sons. So from the Devyani there are 2 sons. 2 sons she got, that Yadu and Turvasu. From Yadu finally came Lord Krishna. And from the Sharmishta, that is we have the Druhyu, Anu and Puru. From the Puru, the Puru Vamsha came and Pandavas came. So essentially both Supreme Lord Krishna and his assisting devotees both came from Yayati Maharaj. And this way the whole story goes. So one day this Devyani saw some beautiful boys moving here and there. Then she came, oh, who are these boys? Then she came to that they are actually born to Sharmishta. She became very much disturbed. She became very much disturbed and immediately rushed back to father's house. And Yayati tried to stop her, to console her, because he is very much worried about the power of the Shukracharya, because he is worried that he may curse him. That's why he tried to control her, but she left and she went to Shukracharya father and told whatever things happened. So Shukracharya, anyway, he knows from beginning that these things can happen because the Kshatriyas are unbelievable, and when the ladies are moving around like that. Then immediately Shukracharya cursed him. You bloody fool, you are a woman hunter. So I curse you that you become the most ugly old man. All his youth will be lost and you will be going to a very ugly old age will fall on you, so that the lusty desires will get lost. When the moment he has cursed him, immediately he became a very ugly old man. Automatically any old person will be very ugly, because his hair will become grey and it will fall off, and his all teeth will fall off, his skin become with curly and everything, and his skin becomes loose. So he became very, very ugly old. But he immediately jumped to the feet of Shukracharya and pleaded. He said that I am not really complete, I am not become contented of enjoying a family life with your daughter. So if you make me, so how can I really enjoy with your daughter? your daughter also will become very much displeased. Like that he started playing some sentiment point. Then Shukracharya become little concerned. He said, okay, no problem. If any one of your children, if any of your sons accept, if any of your sons accept your old age and they give you the youth to you, that is accepted. Take it. Then he became, okay, no problem. I have 5 sons. I can request them and take their youth and give my old age to them. Then he first requested Yadu. Yadu asked, okay, you see, my dear son Yadu, I'm not contented so far. So I wanted to continue your life. I want to enjoy it. Can you please help me to take my old age and give me your youth? Then Yadu did not accept. And then he asked the other sons also. They also did not accept. So finally he went and asked his last son Puru. When he asked Puru, immediately he accepted. He said that in this world one should be very very grateful to father, because the wonderful life, human form of life is coming. It is not the mother gives, actually it is the seed giving father. That's why the child belongs to the father. So for example, if somebody in a ground, if a mango tree has to come, it is not that the earth is giving mango tree. No, the seed is giving mango tree. The earth may be acting as a place, but actually the seed is given by the tree, is given by seed. So the father, the son belongs to the father. And he said that a son expecting the father's mood and fulfilling his desire is the best. And the son who is after hearing and whatever he delivers, he is medium. And the person who performs, the son who performs whatever the orders in a unorganized and disorganized manner is worst. And the person who actually forgets whatever the father gives is nothing but a stool of the father. So I am accepting your whatever statement, whatever your requirement, I am ready to take. And Yayati Maharaj, he becomes very happy with the Puru, and starts enjoying, and he continues. And now Devyani also become very happy that by mistake, and when she became too much angry and she went to father and all these problems came. So after this instance, everything got settled back. Devyani also become little careful and in serving the husband, Yayati Maharaj. They continued, and he continued with happy married life. And then Yayati Maharaj conducted so many yajnas after that, taking the help of wife. And in that process, he has worshipped the Sarva Devamaya, Sarva Vedamaya, and he has given the elaborate donations and dana to all Brahmanas. And because their blessings, and he was constantly worshipping, whatever yajnas he did was only for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. Because of that constant Sattva-guna activities, after so many years, he developed a vairagya in the heart. He developed vairagya. Otherwise, he was so much attached to wife, he was like a person who has entered into a forest of enjoyment. And he was, even when he was cursed, also he was continuously trying to have more and more enjoyment. But because of his his pure activities of this yajna, and also worshipping the Brahmanas and giving them opulences, he became very, very sattva guna, and he developed a desire to renounce. So we can understand from that the activity should be continued. The activity should be continued, and we should not be very much eager to renounce. First of all, perform all our responsibilities, but at the same time, on a parallel track, continue devotional service with all attachment. Perform as a responsible householder, or perform as a responsible brahmachari, perform as a responsible whatever. Continue it. Don't adopt some unnecessary and some immediate vairagya, renunciation. No, should not be doing. While perform everything, keep a parallel track of pure devotional service. When the pure devotional service is there, at the right time, you will get right dosage and right quality of renunciation. So here we can see that Yati Maharaj got the renunciation, and first of all he has to explain, because now as he is attached to his family life, even his wife is also attached to family life. So he took first responsibility. Yati Maharaj took the responsibility of transforming the heart of wife. So first of all, he tried to explain her through some allegory. So he has given some stories, that how he has given a nice story, that now time is not there, so I am just moving there. See, the essential purpose of the story is that how a person who is not looking at the invisible time, how he loses the whole opportunity of human form of life. And he said that because of his attachment to the family life, he has lost. And he explained that if somebody feels that somebody may say, oh, I am getting a mood to eat gulab jam. So somebody said, no, when you are getting that type of desire, you should control it. You should control it by force. That is best method. That is one logic. Somebody may say, no, I am just suddenly developed a taste, some desire to eat gulab jam. If I eat 1, 2, my desire is gone. So simply, why to really controlling, lot of trouble. So that is one logic. But here Yati Maharaj says that, okay, you will eat 1, 2, 3, you stop it. But doesn't mean that forever in your life your desire to eat gulab jam is gone. No, for that moment it is gone. Again in the evening, okay, morning you made gulab jam, can you bring it? Again desire. So he gave an example that if somebody wants to that, it will never be possible. So the extinguishing of the desire will never be possible by fulfilling the desire. Only by controlling the senses with the devotional service to Lord is possible. But by many other methods, if you try to control, they all may get subdued, but at the opposite moment they all jump like a tiger, hungry tiger, and you will be lost. So like that he started giving a great, that especially this sense enjoyment, family life is such a great danger that the desire will never be satisfied by continuous years and years of the enjoyment also. That even an old man would like to enjoy the sexual life, that is situation. So that's why Yati Maharaj given an important message that even a person should not be sitting with even a daughter or even sister on the same bed, because the sensual feelings are so much powerful that he may get attracted. So in this way he gave a deep understanding, and he said that now I wanted to leave from this world, from this kingdom. I go to the forest and I want to meditate on Supreme Brahman, and I want to move along with all the animals, because definitely they will not develop any sensual feeling in me. So I'll just move as one of the animals, and I wanted to just thinking. And because of his deep conducting of the yajnas and brahmanas mercy, he just left all the desires and enjoyment in no time. And he liked his son Puru very much, and he called him back and he said that now I am satisfied, please take back your youth and give back my the old age. And he just went to the forest, and in the forest he started meditating on the Supreme Lord continuously, a super soul, and he finally attained the position of associate of the God, that is Bhagavat Parshada, because we know that he is going to really he has become the platform for the Supreme Lord to come. So such person, where he will go? He will go to spiritual world. He went to spiritual world and he became the Parshad. And when her husband went away like that, Devyani also started meditating on that, whatever her husband mentioned. And she also understood the temporariness of the world and also started the Supreme Lord. And she said, Namastabhyam Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vedhase Sarva Bhutadivasaya Shantaya Bruhate Namaha. She started meditating on Supreme Lord, who is there in all the living beings, and she meditated on as a great personality, Shantaya Bruhate Namaha. And she said that the Supreme Lord is pervading everywhere. In that way, she kept thinking about the super soul in the heart, and because she heard about the glories of the devotional service from her husband, she also finally thinking husband's footsteps and also Supreme Lord, she also taken complete shelter. And in that way, simply by hearing from a realized husband, though she also got completely attached to the sensual engagement, but because she heard very carefully from her husband, at the end she also left the spiritual world. So in this way we are coming to end of the first story, Yayati Maharaj. This is something new story, but he is the basis, actually the Yayati Maharaj is the basis for the Krishna to come and the Pandavas to come. So he appears to be engaged in the sense gratification in the beginning, but such things are not so important. If they're very important, if they are very abnormal, Shukdev Goswami would have not discussed that in front of Parikshit Maharaj, who is about to die. So, but this activity, that's why Krishna also says that Api chesu suduracharo bhajate ma manya bhag sadhureva samantavya samyang. So it is the concern of the Supreme Lord, who is there in heart to witness everything. So we should not be taking the responsibility. We should not be taking the responsibility of witness, that is the Sakshi. Sakshi is there. Why we want to take the role of the Supreme Lord? So leave it to him. He may be having his own plans.